Well, hi, my name's Rusty Richards, and I'm here today with Tracie, and Tracie has a very powerful story, so I thought it would be something good for you to hear. Let's begin by just letting Tracie introduce herself.
I've been married to my husband, it'll be 32 years this year. We have 4 children, all married, and 5 grandchildren that all live within the area. We're very close to them. I became a believer originally when I was 5. But I had no memory of that until much later. So when I was 14, I got invited to a youth group event and listened to a great speaker that day, and that's when I remember officially giving my life to Christ. I didn't grow up in a Christian home, so I didn't have that Christian guidance in the home, but I always knew He was there, protecting me, guiding me. I always was surrounded by friends that went to church, so I was able to always attend church at some point throughout my entire life.
Tracie and I got to know each other earlier this year, and it really came down to our church, trying to make our church a safer place, and we found out about a group called Good Shepherd, Safety and Defense, and so a couple of us made an appointment with them. We drove up to Peoria to the Tack Shack, and she was one of the trainers that was there, and that led to kind of a partnership with Good Shepherd. That brings me to my next question. Why do all of this training for people? Why work with women on self-defense? Why train yourself on firearms and make sure other people are trained? Where did this come from?
I was sexually assaulted, and things turned upside down pretty quickly. I didn't want to leave my house, I didn't want to leave my house. I changed the area in my living room where I was sitting, and so no one could see me. I pulled the drapes. I wouldn't even go outside to get, my mail. I wouldn't go out in the front yard. My husband had to be with me everywhere I went, all the time, and this went on for just too long. And, you can imagine what it does to a marriage. It's a big struggle. So one day we finally just kind of had a big blow-up argument, and he just said, "You have to do something. You can't keep living like this." And of course that made me mad, but he was right. So about that time I had heard somebody mention that they had taken concealed carry, and it kind of came back in my memory that, hey, maybe I might want to look into this and what really is involved in this. And I started researching it, and I did several months of research to see if this is what I wanted to do. And I went forwards and backwards to yes I do, no I don't, and finally decided to take that first class. And that's where it came from, is wanting to be able to empower myself, get my life back, to not have that fear anymore, to step out of my house, to go to the grocery store again by myself. And when I started this journey, I couldn't find women that were instructors, that were out there to teach it. And that was big for me because I didn't want to go anywhere to all this training that I wanted to get by myself, because it was pretty male dominated. And so I dragged my husband with me every class I went to, and so he became an instructor in everything I'm an instructor in. Well, except for the well-armed women. He can't do that. But he followed me through all of that and let me work through all of this. And so when we got involved with Good Shepherd, Brian knows, he knows my story, and he completely welcomed the opportunity to give us to be able to offer all these classes that we do for women. And last week we had an amazing 9 straight days of women-only classes. All of our classes were dedicated just to women. And it wasn't just about firearms. It was about situational awareness and how important that is. People don't like firearms. I get that, and I completely respect that. But let's talk about other ways that you can layer your levels of protection. And that's how I got started.
And I'm just guessing, with all those classes in your journey here, that you've ran into a lot of women that have also been through that type of thing. And
they're my inspiration, they're my motivation to keep doing this for them, to help them get through this like I've been able to get through that, because me helping them, it helps me just as much.
How have you wrestled with your own forgiveness, self-worth, and how do you continue to wrestle with that, being what you've been through, being assaulted and all of that? Where are you at now?
So it's been 3 years since that happened, and it's not been easy. This only just a few weeks ago, finally, after struggling with this and trying to do everything I could do, I decided to finally seek help. And in that counseling that I have just been going to for a few short weeks, I have already been feeling so much more like I'm getting somewhere, that I'm not just kind of going backwards. Forgiveness, wow, that's been tough. Have I had to forgive in the past of other things? Yeah, this has been tough. It's an area that I seek His help every day, trying to get to that point of forgiveness, but it has been an area that I have struggled with this time. And the anger that comes from that as well as, like you mentioned, that self-doubt, that self-worth, it can take you down pretty low. And it hasn't been an easy road for me. There's good days, there's bad days.
Tracie's also making herself available to anybody that would like to talk to her anytime. So I have her contact information. I can connect you with her if you just want to talk to her about any of this.